We're very excited, having our first game under our belt with a victory, and extremely excited to play New Mexico State this weekend on a Saturday at 2:05, and really looking forward to getting back on the field and correcting some of the mistakes we made, and getting a chance to compete against our first Sun Belt opponent. So I'll open it up for any questions.
Have you noticed a change in the players' demeanor, attitude, anything that you attribute to the win?
Just a bounce in there. I mean, there's a little bit more pep in their step. You know, I think that's natural when you win. But, you know, we had a pep in our step before the game. So, you know, it always reinforces and helps and keeps you going in the right direction when you win. It's especially getting the huge monkey off your back of not winning for a whole season. So, you know, obviously they're bouncing around a little bit, you know, more excited, I would assume, but they were like that before the game. So I think we just, you know, because of winning, you kept it going.
Talk about the interesting scheduling with opening on a Wednesday. What was your schedule like after the game? When did the guys work? When did they have off? And is there any concern about them kind of being out of a routine or out of what they're used to now?
No, we kept them in a routine. We played on Wednesday. We gave them Thursday off to go to usually when we play a game, we play the game, give them the next day off, bring them back the next day. So play Saturday, give them Sunday off, bring them in on Monday. We played Wednesday, gave them Thursday off, brought them in on Friday. And we showed them the film just like we would do if it was a Saturday game. Wednesday was a Saturday. So we let them go to school on Thursday, brought him in on Friday, showed him the film, went out and did a special teams practice and made some corrections, and then we gave him Saturday off, and then we brought him back in on Sunday and got ahead and went Sunday, Monday. Today, Tuesday? Tuesday. They're all the same. So today, go Wednesday, do what we do on Thursday with a walkthrough, and then practice on Friday and play on Saturday.
How much can you get out of the film of New Mexico State when they played almost a pure option team in that first week?
You get a lot of looks at them from a skill standpoint, looking at the talent level, you know. But from a defensive structure, it's difficult because you don't know, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure what they did that for an option football team. So, and you don't have any film on their defense from the previous year because it's a brand new coordinator. So it's kind of the great unknown. That's what's got coaches a little bit out of shape, a little nervous. You know, you don't know really what they're going to do. You assume, but you don't have hard evidence on film. You know, so it makes it very difficult. So you got to be prepared for everything. And they have an excellent defensive coordinator. Larry Coyer is excellent what he does. I guarantee you his guys are going to play hard and line up right and be fundamentally sound, and you know it'll be very difficult, but you've got to be prepared for everything.
Coach, you mentioned you want to clean up some things. Does that include offensively, maybe some improvement in your rushing attack, or just the offensive overall? What are some things you want to do better against New Mexico State?
We want to do everything better. I mean, there's room for improvement in everything, and that's throwing it, you know, not throwing interceptions, protecting, not giving up sacks, rushing it, you know, holding on to it, taking care of the ball. I mean, there's everything, offensively, defensively, special teams, coaching, you know, everything is, you know, got to get better.
Can you describe how y'all are in a better place for the offensive line to deal with injuries that you've already experiencing the week 1 and now perhaps in week 2 with if Kaplan doesn't get to play? Are you deeper, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about our mental state of mind.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, what did we graduate? 2 offensive linemen last year that were playing? I mean, we've got guys back, and then we brought in the junior college players. And then we've got some younger guys that, you know, like Davis Moore that we redshirted last year that we're getting ready to, you know, get him ready, and Sebastian Willer and those guys. So, I mean, we do have some more depth than we did, but we still have to, you know, do a great job of trying to keep him healthy because, you know, it's just one here and one there, and you're right back, to what it was. So, that's the thing about college football now with the amount of scholarships, with 85, and then when you're only at 73, I mean, you're going to be lack of depth in a lot of places.
Coach, what did Nick do well that you think will help him be even better in week 2?
He led us to a victory. When we were down, he came back and didn't lose his poise, kept his composure, led the team, made some good decisions with the football. I know he made a poor decision early in the game on the first drive, and then one later on in the third, I think it was the third quarter, with the 2 interceptions. Other than that, he really made some good throws. In the 4th and 19 play, I mean, he threaded the needle. You can't really tell until you watch the coach's film and you can see the end zone copy. But to get that ball to Linquez was an excellent throw. I mean, he really did some really good things with the football, and did a great job from the leadership standpoint and getting us into right plays and protections and making good decisions. So, those are the things he's going to have to continue to do every weekend for us to have a chance to win.
How did you celebrate the win, and what was the most surprising text or message or phone call you received congratulating you?
I celebrated the win by kissing my wife, and you're talking about after I talked to the team, or before, or right after the game. After I talked to the team, I celebrated by getting in the car and going home with 4 children that were, 2 of them were wound up, one of them was half asleep, and the other one was passed out. Getting them out of the car and trying to get them up into their room and get them to bed. And then I went and sat on the couch with my wife, my friend that was in town from Terre Haute, Indiana, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law, and watched TV, watched the game again. We DVR'd it and watched it again and tried to get a head start on what I thought, grading the film, and fell asleep. That's big party time in the Miles house. Well, it was a Wednesday night. Kids, the car leaves at 7:30 to take them to school the next day. You know what I'm saying?
So what about the message? Who was the most surprising text or one you might have received?
Surprising?
Yeah, just,
I got a lot of texts. I mean, there were a lot. I can't, I'm having to go back in my mind. I mean, it was just a lot of friends that text and said congratulations and that kind of stuff. Former players that are still playing at another school and things like that, But there was a lot. There's nothing really that sticks out other than,
Can you update your injury situations that you know of?
We will get back John Bart for this game. Trying to think of who. We're not really in bad shape. I don't think many of it has changed. A.J. Kaplan is questionable with an ankle sprain. We get back for sure Steve Wogamot. Taylor Evans is doubtful for the game. Other than that, LaDarian Young is questionable. Other than that, I mean, your bumps and bruises, strains and sprains and sore hamstrings that take a little time to get them back to full speed, but we should be full speed by Saturday.
And Wogamot would still start for Kaplan?
If AJ couldn't go, yes. But the plan is for AJ to go. That's the plan, but that's why I say questionable. It remains to be seen.
Talk about Jonathan John Bart and what he brings, the dynamic he brings to your running game that could help you on Saturday.
Well, he was having a good camp. He's got good quickness and speed. Again, with our big thing with the backs is hold on the ball. So if we can hang on to the football, I don't feel bad with any of them out there. But they've got to hold on to the football. He does a good job in blitz pickup, so we better be prepared for that. I could see them blitzing us, so I'd like to see all of them hang on the ball and be able to contribute. Obviously, they bring little different things, each of them. Kyler's, more of a power guy and really does a really good job in pass protection. And Christian Hammond has the vision and the quick feet and the acceleration, and they both do some good things. So we'll see.
With Francis coming back in the wide receiver group and all the wide receivers who caught passes in last week's game, how do you kind of keep them all interested, I guess, or fresh, considering how deep that group is? Do you rotate them in by personnel group, or how do you?
I mean, we're going to put whoever we feel is the best at, in that personnel group. We're going to put them on the field, but we're not playing guys just to keep them happy. If that's what we're not. You what?
When there's so many guys, just trying to make sure that they're all engaged.
Well, they better be engaged. This is D1 ball. If you're fourth team, you're 3 plays away from being on the field. So, we found that out at center last year. So they be on the travel squad and be in a position to play with Coach Lopano. You'd better be engaged the whole time. It doesn't matter whether you're first team or 10th team. You better be engaged and be into it mentally, or you won't even be on the travel squad. Competition is the best thing in the world at a position. It's the thing that pushes guys to make them better.
Coach, what kind of running back do you think you'll be dealing with Larry Rose III? He had 30 carries and 4 receptions in his first game. Seemed to really have a lot of touches and a lot of snaps on the field.
Well, he's a very versatile back. He's got great speed. He's got good vision. He's a really quality back. I watched him. I had a chance to watch the game while it was going on, thanks to my brilliant wife that knows how to hook up a laptop to a TV, and I can watch it on TV. And she made sure I was able to watch it. But he's a very good back, as is the guys behind him. I mean, they've got a good stable of backs, and he's one of them. And I thought he performed extremely well. And you got to give his offensive line credit, for making the holes. So we'll have our hands full. We're going to play a team that offensively can move the ball against anybody. They've got a good quarterback that we know through recruiting. They got a really talented group of wide receivers. They're talented at the running back position, and they're solid up front. They've got a good tight end. We'll have our hands full trying to slow these guys down. It's not going to be any different than Abilene Christian. We're not going to out-talent this team. They're going to come in and be just more talented, or just as or more talented than we are. We're going to have to play the best football that we can possibly play, and take care of the ball, not turn it over, and hopefully slow them down a little bit with our defense, and hopefully we're in a position at the end to try to win the game. That's going to sound like a broken record to you guys, but look at the way it is in the Sun Belt.
Other than from injuries, do you expect any change in starters on defense? In the secondary, for example?
Well, obviously, Taurus Batiste has to sit the first half. Brian Williams started in his spot, but I didn't see any other changes. None on the defensive line or linebacker, no.
Marcus Caffey's a very talented guy who it's been a lot of excitement around him, and he kind of got picked on Wednesday. How's his mindset been, and do you think he's responded well to his performance on Wednesday?
Yeah, he's responded well in practice, but he seems like an old guy. But that was the first time he's ever played a college football game. The first time ever playing a college football game, and that has a lot to do with things. I mean, that's and when you put him on an island and have him play man-to-man coverage sometimes, I mean, that's tough. He did some good things in the game, but he also had some situations where he's going to be better the next time he goes out because of the learning experience that he got. But he has practiced well, and his mental state is fine. I mean, young people today are very resilient, very resilient. The things that happened to him in a game, they get ridden so hard in practice sometimes the game is nothing. You know what I mean? So he's used to it.
Coach, what would you like to see done differently in the secondary or with your pass defense? It seemed like a lot of the plays came when the quarterback either rolled out and was making some runs on the while he was making some throws while he was on the run. Is there anything that you saw on film?
We have to play better with our eyes. You know, you can't come out of coverage when you see a guy. When you look to see if a guy's scrambling, you look to him, you take your eyes off your man. So the big thing, this can kind of go. I know it's big in football. We talk about it all the time. The two things that get you in the most trouble are your eyes and your feet. But the two things that can get you out of trouble are your eyes and your feet. So there's a lot of things that technique-wise that we can do better, but also that a lot of that has to do with making sure that we do contain the quarterback and we don't lose contain when we're supposed to keep him in the pocket, and we can get some pressure on the quarterback and make him get it out of their hands. And you know, I mean, it's not just secondary. I mean, it's a whole team thing. You know, it's a team thing. It's, you know, linebackers doing their responsibility if we're in zone and doing the right drops to the right spots, or playing with their eyes and covering their guys out of the backfield, or covering the tight end, or you know, guys getting a rush to not let you have to cover a guy for 8 seconds, you know, things like that. So it's a whole, it's not just secondary, it's everybody.
Coach, now that you're approaching your first conference game, have you noticed a different, not necessarily motivation, but a different attitude with the team now that you've reached this stage of the season? No,
they're all college. That's the beauty of college football, is you get 12 in FBS. You get 12. Sometimes in FCS it's 11. On certain years it's 12. You get 12, and that's it. That's it. We play less games in your college career than you do in one baseball season or a season and a half for basketball. You play less games in your career. So every game is important. Every game is approached as it's the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And now obviously there are other games that, you know, when you have when you have rivalries, guys get up for it a little bit different than others. But every game in college football is huge. So there's none bigger than the other for us. I mean, we approach them all the same, like they're the biggest game of the week.
Did you get to watch any other Sunbelt teams over the weekend? Were there any impressions or anybody you were impressed with?
I watched Saturday. I watched football Saturday. That was the one day I gave everybody off, you know, was Saturday, and I put my wife and I put the TV on the back patio and struck up the grill and sat out there and after getting our workout in, and watched football all day, play with my kids, and I was very impressed with with Notre Dame. I thought they looked more athletic and talented, you know, than they had in a while. I was very impressed with them. Obviously, I'm going to watch that game because of family, but you know, there was a lot of good football to watch. Georgia, I mean, you know, where can I find one of those girly guys? Huh? Holy moly. That guy is a beast. But watched Georgia, very, very happy for Mark Richt. And, you know, we watched Alabama. My wife's a graduate of Alabama, so we had to watch Alabama. And, you know, happy that Kerry Colbert, and happy for Lane Kiffin, you know. Watched a bunch of games, and that's what we do. We coach football all day. We talk about, we recruit. And we go home and we watch more football. So that's life. We love it. Couldn't think of a better way to spend, you know, an off day, to be honest with you. Yes, I did. Yeah. You know, if you'd ever been on that grass that was there, and it's always damp and wet and slippery and coming up and dead by the end of the year, I understand. You know, especially when you're trying to build a speed team. You know, I know there's a lot of things that there for tradition, but, you know, I mean, that's what Coach Kelly wanted, so I'm all for it.
Kind of going back to my opening question, you had said that the kids needed a win just, you know, to reinforce that their hard work is going towards something and that what they're being taught means something. Have you noticed during practices this week, has there been an increased attentiveness in the film room or on the field? I guess a growing belief, I guess, is what I'm asking.
I would say no, because I thought the attentiveness before the game, through camp and going in, was on par for what we needed. They just needed to get a win to reassure that it was all, you know what I mean? It's hard sometimes when you're doing all these things and you're doing it right, and then here's your time to go out and show it and try to get your reward, and you don't get the reward. And it just makes it's difficult. I mean, it's a very difficult thing to go through, but those days are over, and our kids all through camp were focused in on what they needed to do and showing up. They started it probably right after the signing date, and when the start of the second semester. You know, when they would come in here. I told you I came in here one day on a Sunday in January, and there's all the players, all the skill guys in here watching video, you know, with Nick Arbuckle on their own in January. And that's when it all started. And it just went through there, through the weight room, through spring football, through the summer, you know, and it came about on that last Wednesday, and so now it's right back to work the same way. So it's been going on for a while. I would be worried if it picked up, you know, after the first game. You know, why wasn't it like that going into the first game? It was like that. I mean, our kids have been honed in and believed and believing and focused in on getting it done for a long time now, for months.
Coach, your defense did a very good job of slowing down the run in game one. Did you get what you were looking for out of your front seven, and is that what you're looking to have carry forward for week two?
Well, as coaches, we're always looking for more. You know, we want more. Give me more of this, give me more of that. But I was happy with the way the front seven played against the run. I mean, 95 yards, you know. But on the flip side of that, they were throwing it all over the field. So, you know, that makes it tough too. I mean, we'll get better on defense. Our kids will come out and fight and respond. We got a good bunch of kids, got a great bunch of coaches in there, and these guys will go out and do everything they can to get better from game one to game two.